So how does Loving Language Translation aim to provide support to autistic individuals from a public health perspective? After all, we're a translation company. Well, I think an important point to note is just by running this awareness campaign, we are creating our own community of autistic individuals who are interested in employment, who are interested in issues surrounding the employment of autistic individuals, who bring in their own knowledge and their support, and potentially I encourage you again, please view the call to action playlist. But by creating calls to action, we're also allowing you to be involved in the process. And this alone can help to at least ameliorate some of the issues with social isolation and social integration. And as an autistic woman myself, I can tell you it has been incredible to release these public talks, and get feedback from people from around the world, literally from all corners of the globe, sending me an email and saying, hey, I watched your TED talk and it was amazing for me to feel like finally someone was describing me. It's equally beneficial for me to hear that, but I do believe that it's also beneficial for the outreach aspect of putting these things on out into in a very public format, on a very public platform. That also allows us to reach each other, communicate each other, support each other as autistic individuals around the world. So I think that's a very important point. I think from a self-advocacy perspective, it is going to be incredibly valuable to have a company that has an openly autistic founder. I think, obviously from, the gender issues that we have in society, it's incredibly powerful to see an autistic woman starting an innovative company and obviously for myself as someone who grew up in developing countries and who has come to live in a developed environment. I think all of these things they send a very big message. It's much more than simply being the founder of a company. It's also sending a message to young people with autism that, hey, you might be told by society that you can't do this and you can't do that, but here's a person with autism who has overcome all of these obstacles to reach this level, and if she can do it, there's also things that you can do. Don't let yourself be discouraged by society, even when they tell you that you can't. Clearly, there's evidence to the contrary, and I think that is incredibly powerful. The self-advocacy aspect of the business is also an important thing. I feel that it's definitely my experience with companies that employ individuals on the autism spectrum is that they tend to employ them predominantly in fields that have a very high association with autism, like computer programming. And while this is wonderful, and I applaud this completely, I also think that we are disadvantaging autistic individuals who are creative. And I think there's definitely, I've seen a number of studies that have discussed the link between autism and creativity. So irrespective of your whether you're low functioning or high functioning, there are studies that suggest that you have a greater degree of creativity than a peer of the same age who is not neurodiverse, right? And it's important to foster this creativity and allow this creativity to blossom in other areas of life. So by bringing in the aspect of language, we are bringing together autistic individuals who are gifted in a different way and who would like to be appreciated in a different way. And this is also a really important thing to do, because it has become so prevalent to just think of, you're on the autism spectrum, you should go and work for an IT company, you should just go and do IT, they'll definitely take you. There's as much diversity in terms of career preference on the autism spectrum as off the autism spectrum. So we do feel that, in this sense, it'll be a very valuable thing for our company to take off.